Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out this sales automation workshop. My name is Jared. I'm on the sales team here at Nutshell, and today we're going to take you through building a custom pipeline with sales automation. Then we're going to create a lead and work it through that pipeline to show you how the automation works. So we are going to spend most of our time today inside of the web app. So inside of your Nutshell account, to get to your pipelines, you can click your settings button here in the lower left corner. Go up to your company settings and you'll see pipelines under the sales automation tab here. Now, pipelines in a nutshell, you could pretty much use them for anything. It could be, of course, sales, inbound, outbound, maybe more account management or a nurture pipeline. But you could also use them for more, projects. It could be a post-sales project, something like an onboarding and training pipeline or an installation pipeline. We've even got nonprofits using us for fundraising and amongst others. You can pretty much use these pipelines for any process that you want to keep uniform across a company. So just so you understand how we organize data in a nutshell, we have three main record types. So there's companies, people, and leads. People records, of course, are great for all of your contacts. So customers, prospects, partners, whoever they are, and all the communication that you're having with them. Company records are great for creating the relationship they have with their company or organization. And then leads, you can basically use to work a person or a company or multiple through one of your custom pipelines. So basically, you'll just open a lead and pick the pipeline and attach the contacts and companies associated with those contacts through it. Now you can see we've got a pretty long list of pipelines inside of here. What you could do if you've got leads that are coming in and you want to make sure that they're heading into the right pipeline, you can add distribution based on different criteria. So it could be the source they're coming from, company type, industry, market, whatever it is. That'll make sure that they're going into the right pipeline and the automation can kick off after that. We're going to go ahead and start by creating a new one here from scratch. And we're going to make this one pretty simple. It's just going to be a general, kind of prospecting pipeline. We're going to call it prospecting. I'm going to create the lead. And we do have a nice guide here. So if you're just developing your process, whether it's a sales process, we do have these templates you can download to kind of get some ideas from. There's 16 of them here. We're just going to start from scratch and create our first stage. So I hit the add stage button here. Our first stage is going to be called prospecting. We do have this nice guidance section here. So if you want your reps to see any guidance when the lead is in this stage, you can add it here. We don't do any conversion from prospect to lead to opportunity to whatever. What we do have though is this confidence, and the reps can always adjust this 0 to 100%, but this is a way for you to standardize that as the lead is in that stage. And in prospecting here, we're probably going to leave this as a 0, so this is fine. You do have the ability to mark the lead as overdue if it sits in this stage for too long, which is great for you can filter a nice list, see all the overdue leads, and make sure to follow up and keep everybody in line with those. And then you can also automatically close leads if they remain in a stage for too long. So if you've got a high volume of leads that are going into a pipeline and you've taken all your swings at them, whether they're phone calls, emails, whatever you're doing, and you just never get a response, you can have them automatically close after X amount of days, weeks, months, whatever it is. That way you don't have to manually go in and do that. It could even give you a close reason. It could be could not contact, for instance, to help keep your pipeline nice and clean. So this is a good start. We're just going to start with prospecting. And the way that I like to do this, I like to identify the stages of the process first, and then we're going to go in and add the automation for each of these. So our next stage, we're going to call it qualifying. And here I am going to add some guidance. Maybe we want our qualification questions to show up here. In this stage too, let's say that we're at a 10% confidence. We're not going to mark the lead as overdue, and we're not going to have it automatically close. So we've got our next stage here. From there, let's call our next one schedule pitch. We've got our pitch coming next. And then we're going to have closing. And again, you can add all that guidance, and the confidence can increase, all that stuff as you're building these out. Let's actually do the confidence here. We'll say this goes up to a 20. We'll say in the pitch stage, we're going to go to a 40. And then in closing, we'll say it's a 50%. What's nice about this confidence too, it's not only good for judging the confidence your reps or you have in your reps closing the lead as close one, but also if you do any forecasting, you can actually weigh the confidence percentage by the value, which a lot of time will give you, a little bit more realistic number to expect in your forecast for the next, month, quarter, year, whatever you're forecasting for. All right, so this is a good start. We got all of our stages on here. Now we can come in and we can add our automation. So the way the automation works, this first bar here, this is our assignment. So when the lead comes in and it hits our prospecting stage, who do we want it to assign to? You can keep it simple. You could say, it's going to go to this person every time. That's who's going to handle our prospecting. I think we have a team in here. We got our sales team. So we could say we want it to go to our sales team, and we've got all of our sales team members a part of that team. And we want it to round robin. So it can basically evenly distribute all the leads that are coming into this pipeline amongst all the reps on that team. If you have different sorts of rules, like maybe it's based off of territory, value, market, whatever it is, you can add these special cases, which will make sure that your leads are routing to the appropriate rep or team based on those special cases. But this is good. We're just going to round robin them, keep it pretty simple. And this whole bar is assignments. So if you have a team that maybe qualifies your leads, maybe a business development or lead development team, and as it works its way down to the pitch phase, you can have it reassign the lead to your more senior sales staff. Of course, you could just have it assigned once and that person will take ownership through the whole sales process. I think that's what we're going to leave this one as here. Now, for our goal for the prospecting stage here, what we're going to do, and we give you a big list of goals you can pick from. It could be figuring out their contact info, adding a contact. It could be adding a product or a value to the lead. It could be scheduling or completing any activity. Those could be custom too. You're not limited to phone call, meeting, etc. It could be any custom activity that you create. Sending an email to the lead, receiving an email from the lead, or even if you send an email and there's a link in the email and they click that link, that could be enough to meet the goal of the stage and advance it to the next for you. Or you could even create a custom field, and depending how your reps answer that custom field, it could leave it in the stage it's in or advance it to the next stage. In this case, we're going to figure out a contact. And we need their name and we need their email address. Once we get that, the lead can go ahead and advance to the next stage here. Now, to get us to this goal, we might need an automated task to show up in our to-do list. And so what we're going to do, we're going to keep this one simple. We're going to say, do some research. It's going to be assigned to the lead owner. And this is how quickly we want it to show up in that person's to-do list. So we're going to say, we want this pretty quick. We're going to say 1 hour after this stage is entered. We'll say after the lead is open. So basically what's happening is as soon as a lead comes into this stage, it gets assigned to one of our sales members. The goal is to get a contact, and to get us there, we're going to have a task that shows up at our to-do list to get that person, find our contact and add their contact information. So this is pretty good so far. Now for the qualifying stage, we're going to leave assignment for whoever's doing the prospecting. Our goal here is probably going to be to complete an activity. And again, you can customize the activities that they need to complete. In this case, we're going to want to get them on the phone and do a qualifying call, we'll call it. Now, to get us to the qualifying call, we're going to probably need some outbound tasks here. So some automated tasks to do some outbound calls. We're going to call this call. We'll do our day 2 call. And that's going to stay assigned to the lead owner. We're going to make our due date. We'll say we're going to say 2 business days. Just remember, if you guys do work off of business days, to do business days over normal days. And we're going to say after the stage is entered, this task is going to be due. You can add a description here if you need more context to that task, but this is good, so we're going to add that. And this is basically creating a cadence of how many swings you're going to take. So we're going to do a day 2 call. Maybe we're going to do a day 4 call if they don't answer that. Same thing. We're going to make our due date. We're going to say 2 business days after the prior task is complete. And so basically what's happening is, you get your contact, it moves it here. The goal is to get them on the phone and do a qualifying phone call. To get you there, you're going to get a task to try to make that first outbound call. If they don't answer, you check the box that you tried, you leave a voicemail. 2 days later, you'll come back and you'll do your second call. And you can continue to add as many of these as you want. We also have the ability to automate emails to start sending as well. So in this case, what we could do, we could get our prospect, it moves them here. Our goal is to, of course, get them on the phone and do a qualifying call, but maybe I want some automated emails to start sending. So Nutshell offers the ability to automate a template from the lead owner, or you can do a automated personalized email sequence. And I'm going to switch tabs here just to show you how that looks. So we're in the template section here, and I've got one template that I've teed up here. And this is actually a sequence. So it's 3 different emails with a certain amount of business days between each one going out. And you can see I'm pulling the first name off. I've got a link to my calendar on here. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them on that call to complete that goal. But instead of me doing the outbound call, maybe I want to start with an automated email. So the way this works is this email would go out first. If they don't respond to this email 2 days later, the second email will automatically go out. If they don't respond to this one, 3 days later, this third email will go out. I can, of course, continue to add follow-ups if I want. This isn't email marketing. This is coming as a one-off email. We do leverage your email provider, whether it's Office 365, G Suite, whoever it is, to send the email. There's nothing that says powered by Nutshell. The recipient doesn't know that you're automating this through Nutshell. It's just a tool to automate your personal email follow-up. And so what we can do is we can say, I want that email sequence to start sending from the lead owner. And I'm going to pick the one that I created. And you could say, I want it to start sending 4 business hours the lead is entered, 1 business day, or 5 business days. And then you could say when you want it to stop. So again, it will always stop if they reply to it, and then you can come and pick up the conversation manually. But we could say, once it's out of the qualifying stage, we just want it to stop sending, whether they respond or not. And so now what we have is basically a lead coming in, getting assigned to one of our reps. They do their research, they get a contact, and moves them over here. Our goal is to get you on the phone and do a discovery phone call. Without the rep doing anything, that email sequence starts sending. It goes out 4 hours after, 4 business hours. If they don't respond to that, we try our first outbound call on day 2. And the way that I have that sequence lined up, the second email should be coming on day 2. And then if they don't respond to that, we try another call on day 4. Of course, I can continue to add more call tasks, or maybe there's another form of task that you want to create here, but you're basically creating this cadence to try to get you to this goal. So for here, what we're going to try to do as our goal, of course, is schedule something. So we're going to say we're scheduling an activity. And again, you can customize the activities. We're going to say we need to schedule our pitch meeting. Add that. Maybe we're going to add another task. Schedule pitch. And we might want to make that do, we'll say 1. We'll probably want to do that fairly quick after we do the qualifying call. So we're going to say 1 hour after the stage is entered. So now we've got our task to schedule it. We send the meeting out, we schedule it. Once it's actually scheduled, the lead will advance to the next stage. And you can schedule activities inside of Nutshell, or if you're on Office 365 or G Suite, we do have a 2-way sync with your email and your calendar. So if you schedule this pitch meeting, the lead contact is a recipient of that meeting. It will automatically sync into Nutshell and can advance it to the next stage for you. Now for the pitch, our goal is to complete that activity. And the activity is the pitch meeting. Might have to scroll down here. There's our pitch meeting. I can add that. And so we get it scheduled, it moves it here. Our goal is to complete that pitch meeting, but maybe we need a task to, prep for the pitch meeting. Same thing, we're going to make this, we'll say this is going to happen pretty quickly. It'll show up in your to-do list. We'll say it's 1 hour after the stage is entered. Once you actually log that you completed the pitch, it'll move to the next stage here. We don't need a goal here because we're at the end of our pipeline, but maybe we do need some tasks here. So you get through the pitch meeting, it moves it over here. Maybe there's a pitch recap template that you want to send, right? And you want to kind of tailor that to the conversation that you had on the pitch meeting, right? We're going to make that do fairly quick again. We're going to say 1 hour after the stage is entered. Add that. And then you might need some more follow-ups after that too, right? So you send them, you did the pitch, moved them here, you send them the pitch recap template. Maybe we're going to do a close call after a few days. We're going to say, we're going to do our first call 2 business days after the prior task is complete. And then you could do another one too. We'll say we're going to do a close call number 2. And we're going to say, we'll do that 3 business days after the prior task is complete. And so that's kind of how you build this. You've got this nice little workflow now where, a prospect comes in, gets assigned to one of our reps, they get a task to get that contact info, they get it, it advances them to the next stage. Our goal is to get you on the phone and do a discovery or a qualifying phone call, excuse me. They start getting those emails to try to get you to schedule that call with them. They get you on the phone. If they don't schedule it through this email, you're doing your first outbound call. You don't get them on that one. You get reminded to come back and do it again. You do get them on the phone. It advances it to the next stage. Scheduling it advances you here. Completing the pitch moves you here. And then you get all your tasks that are going to show up to come in and close that sale. Now, this is when the lead is open. You can also have different things happen based on the outcome. And that's what this follow through tab does up here for you. So you could say basically if the lead is 1, maybe we need to start onboarding, and we might have that go to, let's say that Antonio's on our our customer success team, and he's going to do the onboarding, and we want him to do that very quickly. This case, it could say start onboarding. It could say whatever you want to do. Antonio might have his own, onboarding training pipeline, maybe an installation pipeline that he would create his own lead in and then start working him through that onboarding process. So this is where you can kind of have a handoff between your pipelines. You can also have it convert them. Maybe they come in as a prospect and you want it to automatically convert them to a customer once the lead is won. You can have that automatically happen. We do have the ability to automate email marketing as well, whether you're using one of our partners or if you're going to be using Nutshell Marketing. You can actually have different things happen based on outcome or as they're moving through your pipeline, right? So I showed you the automated emails that can happen that come personally from the lead owner. You can actually have people added to your marketing as well based on a lead hitting a stage of your pipeline where it will automate that for you, or you could do it based on outcome. So you could say if the lead is lost, for instance, we have a win back campaign that we want to add them to as well. So this is how you build a pipeline. Now we can go through and we can kind of show you how a lead will look working through that pipeline. So we're going to come in here, we're going to hit the plus at the top and create a lead here. We're going to call it our test lead. I can come and I can add products. Again, we're going to pick the pipeline that we're going to add it to. I hope I picked the right one here. I didn't realize that we had 2 prospecting pipelines. You can add a company, whether you're doing it from the existing companies in the account, or you can add a person. None of this is required. You can just create the lead and then you can add all that stuff later. And it looks like I created it in the wrong pipeline. That's okay, because we can move it to our other prospecting pipeline, just like that. All right, so we've got this lead in the right pipeline. So basically, you can see that we have our task that will be due today at 4:54 to do some research, right? Go to LinkedIn, go to the company website, find a contact. Let's say that we do get, the company here. We're going to call it ABC Company. We'll keep it simple. And then we actually do get our contact. And remember, this is the goal. So I went out, I can either find that contact's name and create them from scratch, or maybe just add an existing contact that already exists inside of your Nutshell account. So we're going to add the contact here, and you can notice that the goal was met and advance it to the next stage here. So what's going to happen now, and you can see that automated email, that sequence I created is going to start sending tomorrow at 10:55. Now I can rely on the automation and let it send, or if I want, I can hit the send now button and that'll just send as soon as I hit that. From there, we're going to get our call task to try to do an outbound call, unless they respond to that email and they actually book the call and we do the qualifying phone call, then I won't need to do this task. But let's just pretend that we do get them on the phone. I can come down here and I can just log that we did that specific phone call, which again, we said was a qualifying call. Testing, I can add all my notes in here if I want as we're talking on the phone. I save it. All of our emails, phone calls, activities we're doing are all going to be logged in this nice timeline down here. You'll notice if I scroll back up, the lead automatically advances to the next stage and I get my next task, which is to schedule that pitch meeting. Now, again, we do have a two-way sync with your Office 365 or G Suite calendars. So you could book it from Office 365 or G Suite. It'll sync in, so you won't have to schedule it from Nutshell. For this sake, I'm going to come down here and say that I'm going to schedule it. We're scheduling our pitch meeting, and I'm going to add Ann as the recipient. I can put my agenda, all this other stuff. We're just going to save and close this. And because that meeting is scheduled now, I can come back up here and you can see that advance to the next stage, which is pitch. I get my tasks. It's going to show up in my to-do list to prep for that pitch meeting. Let's say we go through and we actually do the pitch. This activity is scheduled. So I can come in here and I can say that we're going to log that we completed this. I can put my notes here again if I want to. Hit OK, and then save and close that. If I come down here, you'll see that the pitch meeting was logged with all of my notes. If I come back up to the top, you see that the lead automatically advanced to the next stage and I get all those, to send the recap template, and my close calls will come after that. So that is sales automation in a nutshell. I really appreciate you checking out this workshop. We do have a sales process worksheet. Sometimes it's easier to get it down on a worksheet before trying to implement it in your Nutshell account. Feel free to reach out to sales@nutshell.com and we can send that right over to you. Again, thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate the time and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.